why is it important to have female representatives in the EU and in the European institutions?
Very simply, we are 52% of the population. So the question is why it's not natural that we have women in the parliament, in the local government, in decision making. When we talk about ordinary work, it's always women. Why? We should do a good reconciliation of the family and the work. As the president of the European Socialist Party Women Organization, we did a great job because we achieved a lot of goals here within the European Parliament. That was us, the European Socialist Party Women Organization, who started to deal with the gender pay gap. And now the Commission, the 3rd of March, has started a campaign, but that campaign was started first in 2007, February 22nd, 2 years ago. So we really ahead it, I would say, the Commission and the European decision makers. As the Vice President of the Women's Rights Committee, of course, I hope that I can be the next President, because now we have a social, we doesn't have a socialist, we have a homophobe, conservative president, which shows the difference. And of course, we had a conservative backlash in Europe, thanks for having more and more conservative in Europe. But of course, what can the Socialist Party and the Women Organization do? First of all, we wanted to get a real dialogue with ordinary citizens, because we lost elections in so many member states. So we understood that we have to get the personal touch with ordinary citizens again. So that's why I'm very proud that the European Socialist Party, thanks for the Malta's party support, and with the young, dynamic President Joseph Muscat, I'm sure that he is ready to do the changes within the structure of the Maltese party, because it's high time to follow Europe in each level of the party. And of course, this PS manifesto was a product of discussion with ordinary people for long months. So we started in 2006 December, when we had the last Congress in Porto. And then we had different chapters, we had debate within the PS Women, we had 4 responsible to deal with the different chapters. We dealt with climate change, we dealt with the new social Europe, we dealt with diversity, and we dealt Europe in the world. But what is the most important, that now when we prepared the manifesto, we were the first who reacted on the financial crisis in Europe. And I'm very proud that among the 6 chapters in which we started with financial crisis, because we are responsible for Europe, and we are not for the automobile industry. We are for ordinary people who got the loan, and now they cannot repay back the loans. Now we have to get a better regulation with the bank, just to let them understand that you got a good money from ordinary people. Now it's high time to help them with the loan, and to make a different timing for the loan. And of course, what is the greatest achievement in the European Socialist Party, that we are the only party who deals with gender equality in reality, because our chapter number 4 is dealing with gender equality. So gender equality is a type of reality in my party. We really would like to get a women charter, we really would like to close the gender pay gap, really would like to deal with sexual and reproductive health, because nobody else can tell me that a woman cannot decide on her own body, on her own destiny. So I think it is really high time in the 21st century just to make it clear who we are. You are men, you decide on your own destiny. We are women, we deciding on our destiny. And look at how Europe changed. Europe changed completely. So now we don't have any longer the so-called classical family. We really would like to believe in classical family, but it is too late for fairy tales. Europe is realistic. We live much longer, which is fantastic, but we have less and less children. And this is not true. When you have more children, you work less. Let's see the Swedish or the Danish model, when you have almost 2 children per capita. Meanwhile, the Swedish and Danish women are the best on the labor market. And look at Italy, where they have women on the labor market with 46% and 1.33% they are on the labor market. So let's be realistic. Why we prepared the gender equality roadmap with Vladimir Spidla, who is a great socialist comrade? Because we really wanted to make it clear that if women and men are not equal in Europe, then the destiny of Europe will decline. And look at what happened with the financial crisis. 2 banks, which I know by the CSE 40 statistics, headed by women in Iceland and in Paris, headed by women, or the banks we had a better women leadership, could survive. Why? Because the women are for small risk or low risk, men are for high, which is fine, but now this is not the period of the high risk. Let's see what happened in Norway. The Norwegian economy proved that from 7% to 39% went up the decision-making bodies, women's representation. So now they have a better profit. So it means women counts very much, and it is high time to change our classical meaning. And of course, when we socialists understood that we lost elections, the referendum in Holland, in France, and in Ireland, by the way, youths were also against that European construction. Then we prepared a booklet, the 27 member parties, plus Switzerland, plus Norway. This is the booklet, Europe Through Women's Eyes. I really wanted to know, as president of the European Socialist Party Women Organization, what women expect from Europe. What are the women perspectives? Why we are not listened? We are not listened if you are not more than 30% in decision making. So I'm very, very happy that Helena Dalli, who is a great friend of mine, she's in the Maltese Parliament, she tries to prove in the name of hundreds of women, thousands of women, that what is she doing? She's talking about European migration policy, the need for a gender perspective. So I strongly believe that she did a very, very good job. And I'm very, very proud that Claudette Albelo Baldacchino, who is a great friend of mine, she is doing an excellent job in the Committee of Regions, and of course she's the so-called gender specialist. So it is very, very high time in the Maltese Party to make what are the social democratic values. The social democratic values are common in the European socialist family. You have to take into consideration everyone. You have to put children first. You have to put people first. And I would like to go further. We need to put women first, because women can solve the crisis nowadays.
How do we convince the Maltese people to vote and include women in their voting preference on the 6th of June?
Honestly speaking, I think it is, you need to do a campaign. You need to do a campaign to go to visit the most place possible. I'm going to take a bus, and on the bus I will have some young people, we will have a lot of leaflets, and we are going to talk about realistic Europe. And in realistic Europe you need women and men. And of course, if we are talking about 52% of the population, every Maltese citizens has to understand that the wife is not any longer for making babies, or just to cooking, or just to do the job. We need everybody on the labor market, and give a real choice for women. If she wants to work, then let her work. If she wants to do the job, then she can do the work. If she wants to stay at home, she should stay at home. But she needs her independence, because if she doesn't get her independence in a long term, then what happens? Where Europe goes? Europe turns to the bad direction.
The problem in Malta is that the church is still very strong when it comes to principles. That the children are being neglected. Where are you going to put the children after school? And so they make a lot of women feel guilty to leave their children in childcare, to go out and work, and leave the husband to cook. How do you think we can change that mentality?
Honestly speaking, when we have the so-called education, I think it is high time in the education to let the priest understand that what is their real job. Not to explain a woman what to do, because they are not women. They don't know how a woman should behave. They are men who has normally no wife, because they have no chance to give the chance to get a better life with a woman on the board. But of course, this is their decision. I respect their decision. So I think that the church has to deal with Christian values, has to deal how to keep the divided family in one piece, how to give love for the children, how to give historical knowledge on Christianism. But I think it's not the deal for the church any longer, just to explain what to do with a woman body, what to do and how to do. So I think they have to teach how to make a relationship proper, but not how to kill a relationship. So I strongly believe that it is high time in the 21st century for the church, all those who educate the priest, just to let them understand, hey guys, wake up. This is the 21st century, and women are equal partners in the European Union. They are partners all around. So you have to take into consideration that the 52% of the population counts, and you can do a very good job to deal what the church tells you properly, and the church doesn't tell you properly that you have to deal with women's destiny. Women can deal with their own destiny on their own. And of course, that's the woman's choice, how much to take from the family, from the mother, from the lover, from the partner. But this is not the church who can decide on the destiny of a woman without knowing, come on, what is a family life, without not having a wife in his or in their own. So I think it is really high time in the church just to make a manifestation. If you need to do a silent manifestation, I did it in Hungary in 2001 with the Yellow Scarf movement when we wanted to change the government. So women has to take on their own destiny into their own hand. Don't give it to the church, because the church doesn't give them anything back. So they have to decide on their own, but they have to believe in themselves, that they are the persons who can decide on their own destiny. I strongly believe that Maltese women are clever enough to take on their own destiny in their own hands.
I hope so.